Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm doing a little practicing today with a new holster. This is a light bearing holster by Blackhawk, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Basically, it's got a Streamlight TLR1 on it. Okay, and the cool thing about this holster, right, is that the holster is not fitted to the gun; it's fitted to the light. Okay, so it indexes off the light, because what Blackhawk said is that, you know what, there's hundreds and hundreds of different handguns out there, but there's only like maybe two, maybe three different companies that make really good lights. So what they did is they designed a holster that will actually fit around the light, because what happens is this light is mounted to the Picatinny rail, right? So and basically it's held very firmly in place. So what happens is when you put the holster in, still practicing with it. Okay, basically, what you're doing is you're basically guiding the light in, okay, and it basically goes into place. And it's actually a level 2. There's a thumb button over here that you press to release. So it's got retention. It's obviously a very large holster. But the best thing about this holster is that it's like a $40 holster. It cost me something like, I think, $42 from Amazon. And then with I ordered like something else, so I got free shipping too. So it literally cost me $42. Okay, so this is really great. Let me take the holster off and I'll show it to you guys. Got that gun. So they give you, when you get the holster, there's 3 parts that you got to put on. Okay, let me open this up. So they give you a choice. Basically, you can have this piece over here, which is you basically screw in with 3 screws. You can run it through a belt loop, or you can put this piece here, which is basically a paddle, which turns it into a paddle holster. I decided to put that piece on over here, but they give you 2 pieces. So this is one of the 3 pieces you have to put in. The second piece that you have to put in is this piece right here. Okay, and what that piece does is that it sizes the gun. It sizes the holster to the gun, because when you put the holster in, because they know where the light's going to be. So that's the starting point. So the question is, where is the gun going to end up? So they give you 3 different sizes, and you can see how that sits over there. They give you 3 different sizes. This is the medium one. Okay, this is the SIG 2022. 2022. This takes the medium one, so they have a smaller size, and they give you a larger size as well. Let me show you guys what that piece looks like. It looks like this. Now, when I put that gun in that holster, initially it was a little tight going in, because basically, as you can see where the top of the gun is, it rides on basically on top of the top of the slide rides against this plastic piece over here. So because this was a little tight, what I did is I took a Dremel and basically I put on a sanding wheel on it, and I just sanded this down just a little bit. Just took a little bit off of it to make it a little bit looser. Okay. The other thing that you can do is this piece over here. Initially, that screws on top. If you want to make it longer, for this size gun, I had to do that. And basically, that's what you press on to release it. So the cool thing about this holster is the draw is really smooth, because what you're doing is, as you draw, you're actually pushing down and pulling the gun out in one motion. Okay, so it's a push-pull. So it comes out pretty smoothly every time. Provided that you put the right sizing piece here, and you sand it down if you need to. Okay. The other piece that you basically snap into place is this feeding ramp right here. Okay, it just snaps into place. It locks in down here. So you put it in. You just slide it in and you lock it over here, and that basically creates a feeding ramp for the light. Because like I said, this indexes off the light. Okay. And once it goes in, basically this thing is solid until you hit that button. And again, this lock basically locks. You know, if you look at the lock over there, it actually locks behind the light, so it completely indexes off the light. It's it's obviously it's a pretty big holster. The one thing that that you want to be aware of, okay, is that if you look at the trigger over here, right, you see there's a space in there where I can actually fit my finger. I mean, just be aware that, I mean, you can actually reach the trigger. I mean, it's really hard to get in there and activate it, this is a double action, single action, gun. So basically, this gun over here, you have a decocker that you decock it. So the first shot is a long trigger pull, okay, and then after that, it goes. Every subsequent shot is a light trigger pull. And basically, with this gun, I would decock it before putting it into the holster. So the type of gun that I'm intending to use with this holster, this will work just fine for me. Now I've seen other people use this holster with 1911s, with Glocks, with 10mm Glocks, with 9mm Glocks. So it is a very versatile holster. They designed it well. I mean, I wish they didn't have that space over here. I'm going to guess that they needed to have that space in over here because some guns need it and they wanted to make it as versatile as possible. But if you're using this, let's say with a Glock that has a much lighter trigger pull than this, basically double action trigger, just be really aware that with this gun, basically, obviously, I'm going to decock it before I put it into the holster. So this works really well for me. Now, obviously, this is not a holster that I'm going to go to war with. Okay, this is basically a practice holster. I needed the reason why I went to this holster is because I made the decision that I wanted to train, do some night training all through the winter. Okay, now last winter what I was doing is I did most of my night training, mostly in the fall. And what happened is when we really got into the cold months, like when it was like -10 degrees, I was mostly doing rifle training. I wasn't doing that much pistol training. This year I really wanted to do some pistol training as well. Now that we're in the cold months, today happens to be a warmer day. So I needed a pistol that had a light on it, okay? But I wanted to use a pistol that, in addition to being able to mount a light, I could use with thick insulated gloves. And the deal is with this, I have two gloves. So these are the gloves I'd be using, like if it's like 30 degrees outside or 28 degrees. So I needed gloves that I can basically comfortably get into that trigger guard, and work the gun. Okay, but for when it gets even colder, right? When we get into the, into like -5 degrees, I'm going to need to be using these much thicker insulated gloves. So I needed a gun that would accommodate these gloves. Now last year, I mean, when I was shooting, I was basically shooting the Beretta, and I've also used it again this year. My Beretta 92 has a very large trigger guard, but the problem is the original Beretta 92s, which is what I have, they don't have a Picatinny rail, and I just never bought another one. But with this gun over here, basically I can fit this thick glove into that guard. So this is not quite as comfortable as the 92. The 92 has a little bit more space, but I can't kind of force it in there. It does take some forcing because that first shot is a double action. I mean, even if I hit that trigger a little bit on the way in, it's not going to shut the gun off. And then after I fired that first shot, right, the gun is going to basically, now when the hammer's back, now I have a lot of room in there. Okay, so when with the hammer back, you can see there's a lot of room to get this thick insulated glove. So, and the other cool thing about this SIG SB 2022 is that it came with factory night sights on it. So it's got the glow in the dark sights. So this is a really ideal pistol to be doing my winter night training with. Okay, so I needed a holster that would fit that. And the thing is, the SIG 2022 is not like one of the most popular guns out there. Okay, so there are not. I mean, basically, I searched light bearing holster for SIG 2022, and this is the only one that came up. So I don't think, I mean they do make holsters for this gun, because I have one, but I don't think that they make light bearing holsters. So this is a universal holster that will fit this gun, and it fits really well, and it's got that level 2 retention. Okay, it comes right out. Okay. So this is definitely a great choice, and for $40, I mean, you really can't go wrong. And this is it's a pretty tough holster. I mean, this is a thick piece of plastic. You know, this isn't like flimsy, thick, you know, thin plastic. This looks pretty solid, pretty rugged, and it will definitely allow me to do the drills that I want to do. Like I said, the one thing I just gotta be aware of is that, you know, I mean, the trigger is not exposed, but like I said, you can kind of angle your pinky in there, you know, but it will definitely work. Like I said, I just got to be aware to make sure I've decocked the gun, which I always do anyway. But this is something that I think you guys should consider. I've done a bunch of holster drills today, you know, drawing and shooting, and it works really well. You know, I think it's a good choice. And for $42, you know, you can pretty much, if you've got any gun that will take a stream light that you can mount onto it, you can use this holster with it. Okay, so that's the Blackhawk Omnivore. Okay, and then it says designed to fit Streamlight TLR 1 and 2. You know, they have another one if you have a Surefire, and I think there's a third one that they have for some other company. But if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it. If you're not on my channel, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notifications of the new videos. I'll talk to you guys next time. Hey guys, I wanted to add one thing on that Blackhawk Omnivore light bearing holster. There's one serious weakness that I potentially see in it, and it's the way that the holster itself attaches to the paddle. Or the belt clip that attaches to your belt. Basically, there's 3 screws that hold it in place. So you got 3 metal screws that screw into the plastic holster. And basically, if that holster were to snag on something, you know, I can definitely see I can definitely see it being stripped off. Okay, because you got screws going into plastic. You know, I mean, it's a pretty hard plastic, but you know, it's not the strongest thing in the world. It's not like it's bolted on both sides. Okay, you know, if they used some type of a bolting system, it probably would have been a lot stronger. So that's why I said earlier in the video, I didn't consider, you know, this is not something I would go to war with. I don't consider this duty grade, but I think it is a very good practice holster. So, you know, I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. That's the most serious weakness that I see in this holster. It's not the fact that there's a tiny gap in the trigger guard, you know, or there's a tiny bit of access to the trigger when you know, because that's something that a lot of people are going to point out. I mean, I think I think it would be very difficult to actually slide anything in there that would snag the trigger. But I can definitely see the holster itself snagging on something hard enough so that maybe it, you know, the screws strip out from the plastic, you know, in the way that the holster attaches to the belt clip. So they're my thoughts on that. Like I said, I think so far, I think it's a very good holster. It's a good training holster. I don't think it's a good duty holster for the reason I just mentioned. But I'll let you guys know in a couple months after I've been using it. Talk to you guys next time.